Sometimes, the world isn't kind to artists. Creatives are born with a gift that others around them praise and admire, tell them that their talent is some sort of blessing. But sometimes it doesn't feel like a blessing, doesn't it? There's a reason why the trope of the struggling artist exists. The way society functions, the way it is structured, it becomes extremely hard for anyone to break into a creative industry. It doesn't matter what your passion is, whether you're an actor, a painter, a writer, a musician, or whatever. Getting your foot in the door, being creative for a living, finding success and fulfillment, it's really difficult. Not everyone is successful. For every Tom Hanks, there's 1,000 other actors out there who look just like him, are just as skilled as him, who failed to make it. For every Stephen King, there were 1,000 equally other talented writers who sent their manuscripts to 100 publishers, and yet nobody wanted them. Not only is it hard to become an artist, but society tends to undervalue creatives as well. I mean, seriously, do you remember the actors-writers strike that happened pretty recently? How Hollywood wanted to replace writers and actors with artificial intelligence? Now, if that's not soulless and dehumanizing as hell, then I don't know what is. It also doesn't help that those of us who are artistic tend to feel emotions quite strongly. The challenges we already face, on top of usually being sensitive, makes overcoming these obstacles all the more overwhelming. Now, I know what you're thinking. Holy shit, goddamn, this video got off to a negative as hell start, why the hell are you trying to make me depressed? But you see, the thing is, I'm not trying to put you down. Today, my goal is to change your perspective. Maybe you feel defeated, maybe you're angry, frustrated, because all you want to do is pour your creativity out in the world, and yet nobody's noticing, nobody's accepting you. Believe me, I've been there. It's hard, it's demoralizing. That's why today, I'm here to uplift you. Even if society undervalues or underappreciates artists, that doesn't change the fact that society needs artists. Society needs you. Even when you're struggling, even when you feel like you can't make it, even when you fail, that doesn't change the fact that you have the potential, the power within yourself to bring life to humanity. Every single one of you has the capacity to change the lives of those around you for the better. And here's why. As you've probably already figured out, I am a creative individual. I have been ever since I was a small child. I've dabbled in various creative endeavors. I create artwork, I create photography, I'm learning to sing, I'm currently studying design, I've been video editing most of my life. Hell, I've even done some film acting gigs in the past. And of course, I'm a writer. Writing is my main passion. I've written a few short stories, I've created an audiobook, I've also written 5 novels, currently unpublished, with a 6th on the way, and I'm also currently in the process of learning how to self-publish one of those novels. I've spent my entire life being creative, expressing myself using creativity, using it as an escape, using it as an outlet for what it was I'm going through, to pull things out of me that were suffocating, setting my insides on fire that would otherwise have no other way of being released. I am passionate about everything that I create. All of my creations are my reason for living. Creating is my purpose. And just like how I've spent my entire life being creative, I've also spent half of my 20s trying to make it as a creative with so far very few results. This is something that over the course of the past couple of months has scared the hell out of me. Because I don't know what else to possibly do with my life other than being an artist. I've tried so many other things, considered so many other career paths or jobs, and yet it feels like the only thing I'm good for is being creative, because I feel so hopeless at everything else. I've been trying to get my work out into the world, publish my first novel, yet I have faced countless rejections from publishers, from agents, you name it. I have Excel spreadsheets filled with more people than I can even count who I have tried submitting my work to. Yet, I haven't gotten a publishing deal yet, nor have I signed on with a literary agent. Sure, a few of them had some good things to say. Some said they enjoyed the premise of my manuscript. Others said they think I'm talented, but then immediately followed it up with something like, "But unfortunately, I don't think we're the right person for your manuscript," or "It didn't personally resonate with me, so I'll have to step aside," etc., etc. I've also been to some really dark places throughout my life. Endured, survived so many hardships, and even though I'm in a place right now where I have so much to be thankful for, and I'm definitely grateful to have all of the wonderful things I do have, I'm still going through a lot. I'm still working through so much internal darkness and just learning how to heal myself. I'm still learning how to heal myself, and I'm still working through a lot. Now, you might be wondering why I got so personal all of a sudden. Why am I so emo right now? Well, first of all, it's been 15 years since 2007, and I still haven't grown out of my emo phase yet. And second of all, I need to preface what I'm about to talk about next. I met someone last year who was a singer-songwriter, someone equally as creative as I am. However, just like myself, she was also someone who dealt with a lot of darkness in her personal life. One evening, we were having a personal discussion about each other's mental health. I don't fully remember the conversation or what we talked about exactly, but she said something to me that has been burned into my memory ever since. She told me, and I'm paraphrasing here, pain is good, pain is useful, because pain is what helps create good art. I didn't tell her this, but at the time, I didn't agree. Not because I thought she was wrong, no, I agree, pain does create good art, but what I didn't agree with was how pain is good. I didn't agree with what she said about how pain is good, because I hated the idea of artists glorifying their own pain, or fans glorifying the suffering of an artist, because their pain is what makes them as good at creating art as they are. I thought to myself, no amount of unbearable suffering and pain is worth it just to create good art. Is going through so much tragedy and trauma in your life really worth it just so that you can create art that other people think is amazing? That was my belief for a long time, that you don't need to suffer just to create something that's good, that you shouldn't idolize or glorify the trauma someone goes through in their life just because that trauma inspired them to create something that people loved. However, recently, I came to an epiphany, a realization that not only shifted my perspective a little bit, but also inspired me to create this video. What was it I realized? What was the conclusion I reached? Well, my epiphany was it's important for artists to experience pain, because artists have the power to translate emotions into something that other people can identify with, find catharsis through, and more importantly, save the lives of others. I'm going to ask something of you. Look back on your life. What sort of music have you loved over the years? What sort of movies have you loved over the years? Books, games, anything. What are they? And of course, which of those things had the biggest impact on you and your life as a whole, and why? It's not uncommon to hear someone say that they once listened to a song that changed their life forever, a song they could relate with, that made them feel like someone understood what it was they were going through. Nor is it uncommon to hear someone say that they read a book or watched a movie that changed their life, that they found a character or two that they could relate with, identified with, and saw a piece of themselves within. You see, the thing that you have to understand about life is that pain and suffering are just simply a natural part of it, just as much as happiness and joy. There are no exceptions. Everyone experiences both darkness and light, and when it comes to experiencing personal darkness within yourself, sometimes all you need is help and support. That is when artists come in. Just like anybody else in the world, creatives experience suffering, pain, tragedy, trauma. Artists can use those experiences, take all of their pain, emotions, and suffering, and pour it into art. Whether that may be music or writing or acting, just about anything, you get the idea. In turn, those creations have a habit of finding their way to people who need to see them the most. Other people who are struggling with those very same things the artist is going through, who might be at the end of their rope, who come across what the artist has created, and within that creation, they find healing, catharsis. They feel a little less alone. They feel like someone out there, somewhere, understands everything that is within their soul. While, yes, I still believe that an artist shouldn't glorify their own pain and trauma, parading themselves around being all like, hey, look at me everyone, I'm a dark, tortured, brooding artist, aren't I so profound? My perspective has shifted slightly. Now, I believe that pain is good for an artist because artists have the unique gift of being able to heal others through the things that they build and create, basically like alchemy, turning their pain, transmuting their pain, and turning it into something that can benefit others. But that's not all. Artists and creatives don't just help other people through difficult times of their lives, they are capable of so much more too. Because you see, not every piece of art, not every creation has to be deep, profound, or have some kind of message to it. Sometimes an artist can create something that just simply makes other people feel good. Maybe you're the kind of person that likes to watch films that are positive, lighthearted, either because they bring you a sense of joy or put you in a feel-good mood. Maybe you're thinking of a book, movie, or anything else right now that brings you a sense of comfort and familiarity, something that you always look to whenever you're having a bad day and need to be cheered up. Or maybe it's just simply something nostalgic from your childhood and you hold onto it because it helps you reconnect with your inner child. The same goes for comedies. Sometimes comedy can be satirical or act as a commentary on certain things happening in the world, but they can also make people happy and help them forget about the problems in their daily life for just a little bit. And speaking of how creatives can help people forget about the problems in their daily lives, an artist's creation can also give somebody a sense of escapism. Have you ever read a book where you become so immersed into it that you feel like you're one of the main characters experiencing the journey for yourself? That's always been one of my favorite aspects about reading. Or how about we take the whole escapism aspect a little further? What about video games? To many people, both gamers and non-gamers alike, video games are expendable, frivolous forms of entertainment. While there's nothing inherently wrong with that, video games are also capable of so much more than that. Video games offer escapism by putting you in the shoes of iconic characters you can identify with or resonate with. Hell, maybe the game even lets you create your own character and you get to live out your own adventure as a slightly better looking version of yourself. I've always enjoyed video games because they offer me an avenue of escapism and self-expression that's not usually possible in the real world. Instead of passively watching a movie, you get to directly interact with a video game's world and you are the hero of the story. Two of my favorite video game franchises of all time are the Mass Effect trilogy and the Final Fantasy series. I am into more games than I can even count, but I'm specifically going to use those two games to help illustrate my point. Now, what's one thing that Mass Effect and Final Fantasy have in common? They are both epic, grand, story-driven games where you embark on a life-changing journey with iconic, lovable characters by your side. Those two franchises in particular I hold very dear and close to my heart because of those very reasons, giving me escapism through an adventure of my very own. Hell, in the case of Final Fantasy, I've even discovered characters that I find myself relating and identifying with, characters who I saw a piece of myself in because they've gone through similar struggles that I have, struggled with mental health the same way that I have. Mass Effect and Final Fantasy have both brought me a lot of joy. They've told stories that have stuck with me to this day, given me characters that I love. Hell, these games have even made me cry. But you know, in like a strong, dignified, masculine kind of way. It's not just Mass Effect and Final Fantasy either. There have been countless video games I've experienced and loved throughout my life that have given me escapism during difficult, bleak, and dark times of my life. No matter what I was going through, I could at least escape for a few hours a day into another world where I wasn't myself, but instead I was put into the shoes of either characters I love or characters of my own creation who were expressions of the person I wanted to be. Video games can also create new connections. I've met a lot of great friends through online gaming that I otherwise never would have, and playing games with all of my other friends certainly helped deepen our connections too. But escapism, entertainment, and storytelling through books, movies, and games aren't the only thing artists can create to help people. They can also help others express themselves. Maybe you're a jewelry designer, or a fashion designer, tattoo artist, or anything like that. You create things that help other people express who they are. There is only so much that one can do with their appearance. We're all born looking a certain way, and outside of plastic surgery, we can't change how we look. But what those types of creatives can do is that they make clothing, accessories, and designs that resonate with people, help them express who they are within, how they feel on the inside, and more. And most importantly, things like jewelry can go on to have tremendous, powerful, sentimental attachment. They can represent a certain period in a person's life. Maybe a loved one died and all they have left of them is the ring or necklace they used to wear all of the time. Maybe they were given a piece of jewelry as a gift from someone they love, and that piece of jewelry represents the love between those two people. And going back to tattoo artists can create designs that people resonate with, designs that people carry on their bodies for the rest of their lives, and sometimes have deep personal meaning. Like jewelry, tattoos can represent a chapter in someone's life. Tattoos can also commemorate a loved one that passed on, help with that difficult healing process. Tattoos can express how someone feels inside and help them feel more comfortable and confident in their own skin. The truth is, society needs artists. Humanity needs art. Imagine a world without art. A world without creations. A world without paintings, without books, without movies, photography, video games, music. Just imagine. A world without all of those things would feel so much more meaningless, wouldn't it? A world without color, without taste, living a life like that would be so much colder, bleaker, meaningless. Artists don't just heal others. Artists bring light, life, and meaning to our world. Like I said at the beginning of this video, sometimes the world isn't kind to artists. Sometimes not every artist makes it. Not every artist is successful or famous or rich. That's just the reality of things. That's just how the world works sometimes. But the truth is, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you make it. It doesn't matter if you never become famous or financially successful from your creations. What truly matters is that you never, ever give up on your creative passions. Even if other priorities, responsibilities, or commitments overtake your life, never give up on being creative. Because the truth of the matter is, even if the world doesn't know you exist, even if you only get like 2 likes on your photos or artwork on social media, even if everything feels pointless, because you're not noticing any big or notable impact, that doesn't change the fact that somewhere out there, someone might see what you have created. At least one person might find your creation, resonate with it, identify with it, and ultimately, maybe it will even help them. Maybe it'll get them through a difficult time of their life, or maybe it'll just bring a smile to their face on a bad day. There's still a chance that you could reach someone, anyone, who needs to find what you've created the most. No matter what, there's always a chance that you can make an impact on an individual's life. There's always a chance that you could save someone, and you might never know it. So regardless of whatever kind of artist you are, regardless of whatever creative pursuits fulfill you the most, keep going. Grow your skills, learn new things, improve and improve. Sometimes the path of a creative feels hopeless. Sometimes it gets dark, but no matter what, keep your eyes on the road ahead and see where it leads, because you may never know where that road might lead and what sort of impact or connections you might make along the way.